In this short video, we are going to look at naming conventions that the C standard indicates for variables and functions. Now, we've already seen variables and their usage in programs, and we've seen the main and the printf function, and we'll soon see other standard functions, and we'll also define our own functions soon. What we have to remember is that there are some rules for naming variables and functions. You can't just use some arbitrary names. The rules are very flexible, so it is going to be hard to break them unless you really try hard. But broadly, what you have to remember is that names can only contain alphanumeric characters and the underscore sign. No other special characters can be used. So if you just follow this instruction, then you will be more or less safe. The other thing that you have to remember is that you cannot begin a variable or a function's name with a number. So you can say a underscore 3 or this underscore variable. These are all valid names. But something like 5 underscore r or dfd at dhr or this variable where there's a space between this and variable and no dash entry, these are not valid names. C will give you a compiler error if you try to do this. So basically you just have to remember these two rules, that you only have alphanumeric entries and underscore, and you can't begin the variable or the function's name with a number. As long as you remember that, you should be fine. Ideally, you should use short and meaningful names for your code. So for example, if you are trying to add two numbers, instead of saying A and B, if you want it to be meaningful, you could say first number, second number. And for C, you can replace that with sum. When you want to define constants, variables that are not meant to change throughout a program, it's best to use capital letters for those names. It's a nice way of visually quickly verifying what the constants in your program are. For variables, it's best to use small letters rather than capital letters to avoid confusion. Now, here I've defined temp, 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 temp. 4 different spellings of temp, basically just differing in capitalization. Mr. C thinks of each of these as a separate variable. So Mr. C has no problem defining these 4 boxes with these 4 different names. This program is fine according to Mr. C, but for a human, this would be very, very confusing. And so it's not advisable to write code this way, even though it is syntactically possible. Try not to write programs that look like this.